Hello Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday's literacy lesson. So we are carrying on with some SPAG skills this week, and today we're looking at synonyms and antonyms, which you will have looked at before. So you'll notice in your pack this sheet, now this sheet isn't an activity, this is a little prompt sheet, a help sheet to help you if you get stuck. It gives you the definition of synonyms and antonyms and some examples. So make sure if you get a little bit stuck or you forget, then go back to this sheet. So a synonym then. So a synonym is a word that has the same or a very similar meaning to another word. Okay, so if we use the example of big, okay, so another word that means similar to big is huge. So huge is a synonym of big, okay? And then we'll move on to antonym then. So that means the opposite meaning to a word. So if we use our example of big again, the opposite will be small. So small would be the antonym of big, okay? So again, quickly, synonyms mean the same and antonyms mean the opposite. So I'll show you what you are going to do. So on your mild sheet, now make sure today you do only pick one, okay? Because they're all very similar, so make sure you pick just one of them. So the first bit of your sheet on mild, you've got some sentences and one word is in brackets and you've got to give a synonym for that word, okay? So if we use this first one, so Farron was very, and then nosy is the word in brackets, so you've got to give another word that is similar to nosy. She had a good rummage in the box of stationery supplies when the teacher wasn't looking. Now remember, use the rest of the sentence to help you. I'm sure you all know what nosy means, but if you don't know what the word means, use the rest of this sentence to help you. Now I know that nosy means that people are quite interested and they want to know what's in there or what they want to find out about things. So I could use, well, interested doesn't really fit. So Farron was very interested. Well, it does, or you could use something like curious. So Farron was very curious. She had a good rummage in the box of stationery supplies when the teacher wasn't looking. So it's a word that's a similar meaning because I know that nosy means that someone's quite curious or interested. So the second one is an antonym. So the underlined word, the word in bold, you've got to think of an antonym. So remember that means the opposite. So it says here there are sufficient numbers of glue sticks for all the class. Okay, now again, if you're not sure what the word sufficient means or any of them, think about the sentence. So I think this means that there's enough glue sticks for everybody. So there are sufficient number of glue sticks for all the class. That tells me that there's enough. So now I'm trying to think of an antonym. So enough, what would be the opposite? So if you can't think of a word, if you're really stuck, then you could go onto thesaurus.com. So if you see here, I've gone onto thesaurus.com and there's a box to type in synonyms. So if you weren't sure what it meant, there's some other words that mean sufficient, but also if you scroll down, so that might help you. If you're really stuck, then you could scroll down to the antonyms. Okay, so there's insufficient, which is obviously the opposite as well. And then you could choose one of those and put them into your sentence, but only use that if you are really struggling. Okay, the best thing to do is to try and use the sentence. So the medium is very similar, apart from you've got to think of a couple of words here. And then the hot, you've got to think of more synonyms here and more antonyms here. Okay, so make sure you only choose one.